What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to another video. I know it's been a little while since I last posted. Very busy last week, but I did think it was very important to come out and do a follow-up video to the video that I posted talking about why I sold my TFSA to put that money towards a down payment. If you haven't seen that video, I would probably recommend going to watch that one first. This one will probably make a lot more sense because first and foremost, thank you guys so much for all of the amazing words and comments that were left and so many pieces of wisdom and tips from so many parents out there. Crazy how many of you guys there are that watch these videos. So it just gets me that much more excited. So thank you guys so much. I know I didn't get to every single comment, but I did read every single one. So thank you guys for that. There were a handful of comments saying you made a terrible choice or you don't know what you're doing. This was a mistake. That is exactly why in this video, I want to talk about basically a deeper reasoning behind my decision and why I still firmly believe it made sense for me. By no means saying that that's the right thing for you to do, but in particular, I'll actually pull up this one post that I just came across this evening, which was like, I have to come out and film this video today. This was posted to a Facebook group that I kind of lurk around in. A great Facebook group. I think it's called ChooseFI, Financial Independence Canada. But one of the members basically shared my video and said, spoiler alert, he invested his down payment in stocks, not somewhere safe like GICs or high interest savings account, which is the standard advice. Do you agree with what he did? It seems to have worked out for him. And I would just like to make clear right off the bat, to Mark, the poster of this, if I wasn't clear in that last video, that's my fault. Let me just reinstate it. I did not invest my down payment money into the stock market, trying to inch out some extra returns and trying to basically juice up that amount, knowing that I was gonna be putting a down payment on a home. That is not the case of what happened. My TFSA, when it started, and really until just a couple months ago, or a month ago really, when I made that decision to actually sell my TFSA, was intended for my long-term uses. Now, there are obviously some flexibility in terms of how life plays out, and again, a great thing about the TFSA is you do have multiple options with that, but the money that I did have in my TFSA was meant for investment purposes. It was meant for investing to grow my wealth over a number of years, not specifically put aside for a down payment. Basically, the nuts and bolts of why I ultimately decided to use my TFSA strictly came down to my personal tax situation. As I mentioned in that last video, I don't think this would apply to a lot of people, but because most of my money is tied up in my corporation, a completely other entity. If I were needing to take out, let's just say $100,000, just to use a rough example, if I need $100,000 net to hit my personal bank account, in reality, based on just how things have played out this year, I need to take out a significantly higher chunk than that, probably somewhere like $130,000, $135,000. The exact math of that I leave to my accountant and he tells me, but a very good chunk of that goes directly into my taxes for the government. So really, I have to be taking out a higher number gross just in order to net out that 100,000 versus if I have 60 grand, 100 grand, whatever it is sitting in my TFSA, keep in mind, money that we put into our TFSA is basically after tax dollars. We've already paid tax on that money. It's money that's already hit our account, and then we're gonna pop it into the TFSA, and then it's gonna grow or not grow or do whatever it does. And if we wanna pull out that gains, no gains, whatever the case is, that's after tax dollars. We don't have to pay any money on that. So in my situation, again, looking at where should I draw this money from, very personalized, very unique to my case, that's why it made sense for me to do that. Again, with full intentions of, as the calendar year turns over, I get that space back and I can pop the money in. In theory, I could pop in it right off the bat, the entire 60K or 57K that I took out. Again, I would have to take that into personal taxes, but let's just anticipate and hope that in the next calendar year, my taxes are gonna be significantly lower, which would ultimately save me money at the end of the day. So that is why, just to clarify, I decided to make that move, right? It's not because I wanted to just inch out some extra returns. It's not because I was getting greedy and said high interest savings accounts suck right now, so I'm gonna invest in the stock market. I think that age old wisdom of being safe than you'd rather be safe than sorry, I think that remains very true when you are specifically saving for a down payment. Again, in my case, that's not exactly where it was. And more importantly than that, I actually saw a comment here from a guy named Darcy, which I really, really resonated with. And I think that will actually lead into the bigger reason why I decided to do the move that I did. Darcy said here, we sold our entire TFSA and RSP last year to get a down payment for our first home. It went against everything I believed in, but together we agreed that we wanted to stop renting in Toronto and own our home while prices in Hamilton were still within reach. And that was the way to do it. If you're just looking at growth, then it was clearly the wrong move. But life isn't always about the size and growth of your portfolio. We wanted a house, we got one, and we've both had pay raises since then that have allowed us to invest more aggressively and are quickly catching up to where we left off. If you're just doing it from purely investment perspective, stay or get in the market. Great wisdom. But if you actually want to own a home, not because of what it will do to your net worth or what have you, because owning a home is what you really want, then follow your heart and know that you can always rebuild your portfolio. And what a great piece of wisdom and experience to share there. Darcy, who I don't know who this guy is, basically just gave his situation. And there's a lot of people that actually in the comments said they found themselves in the same situation where they did have to dip into their investments to fund a down payment. I think what needs to be understood here, guys, is I know this is a channel about investing. I know this is a channel about growing our money. And at the end of the day, everybody wants to make those dollars. We're all thinking dollars and cents, dollars and cents, dollars and cents. But that is just one reason as to why we invest. In fact, I wouldn't go as far as saying inching out every dollar and making every financial decision based on the calculations and what is the best dollar return for you. I know it sounds crazy to say, but sometimes it's completely fine. In fact, I'd say better to do the exact opposite. Not the exact opposite. We don't want to do terrible things, but there's the whole side of basically understanding your lifestyle and what decisions you want to make as a person, as a human being, that you need to weigh with the actual dollars and cents side of things. And again, to recap on our situation, baby coming 2.5 months from now, yes, we have a place, but the condo again is quite small. It's a very cramped, small condo. We wouldn't even really properly have room for a nursery and a baby room. Of course, we'd be able to make it work. A lot of people make it work with a lot less, but with myself, Viv, the 3 pets, I even brought Bailey here with me today because I had to take her down to pee. And yeah, I just figured I might as well just do it all in one batch here. But yeah, 3 pets already. It was more or less the factors on the lifestyle side and how we want to live our life that led me to that decision. And again, you know, this market that we live in, like, did we get a value price on the home? Did we get a steal on the home? Of course not. Don't be thinking that we think that. We paid, if anything, a major premium for this house, right? My dad and I joked about it, like, off camera. We're just texting back and forth. It's the same feeling right now as like jumping into Tesla stock. It's like, you know, just get your hands on it before it's too late. That's how we feel in this market. And we always had the option of looking somewhere else. We always had the option of going out of province, going out of the city. But we weighed the pros and cons. And for us to be close to family, to be where we were raised, that's the decision that we made. And what comes with that is buying into a market that is pretty darn crazy. Let's be honest. Now, to be honest, everything's crazy right now. If we want to be real about it, stock market's up at all-time highs, cryptocurrency's going nuts, real estate market is going up, going up, going up. Sooner or later, I mean, things have to pull back, maybe even in a significant way, and that is completely okay. That is completely the approach that I'm taking here. When you go out and buy a home for yourself to live in, right? It's a different story if I'm saying, well, hey, I'm gonna buy this investment property, and then I may wanna look, in fact, I'm not may wanna look, I do wanna look at the calculations, and I wanna run my spreadsheets and say, this is how much I'm gonna be making, is it profitable, is it not? That's a very different story. But when we're in a situation with the timing of life and how things are playing out as they are, it's, hey, I want a place to live, to comfortably live, not I'm trying to make this investment be the best from a dollars and cents perspective. And, you know, a very realistic expectation for me is 3 years from now, if we look at the market and things have cooled off and this home is now worth 1.1 million, and it's down 200 grand from where we bought it. So what, right? Again, of course, if we wanted to go out and buy a value home and go out and buy a cheap price, we wouldn't be looking here in Richmond. I don't think you can really find that in Richmond in a market like this. But to have a home, the important figures for us is, hey, are we going to be able to maintain the mortgage? Is our cash flow from a personal side, from a business side, can I fund this home? Whether rates increase, whether rates stay the same. Obviously, in an ideal case scenario, the housing market would keep going up and it would just keep firing on all cylinders. And a couple years back, 5 years back, we look at our home is appreciated by X percent. Well, that'd be great. But at the same time, that's not my primary concern, being the fact that we're coming into this for a place to live. And to finish off this video, there's a question that I'd kind of ask you. And it's a question I'll just throw out there, a question I ask myself, a question just to have up in the air. Why do we invest in the first place, right? What is the reason that we even invest and want to grow our wealth? Is it to make every single dollar out there and the goal of this is to just make money for the sake of making money? Maybe for some people, the answer is yes. But at least for me, and what I'd like to portray to you guys, is that we invest so that down the road, whenever that is, for certain life events or for wherever we're kind of looking forward to, we're kind of making these sacrifices today. We're putting our money aside to go out and hopefully live the lifestyles that we want. And we want that money to help us fund and finance whatever our lifestyles are, right? For some people, that may be a new home. For some people, it may be retiring early. It may be working, half-time or part-time, 3 days a week and taking the other days off. Like, there's so many different reasons why people invest. And, from a root reason, we all should have these goals that we're striving for. But I think it's a mistake to just invest for the sake of making money and just trying to inch out every single dollar return. And basically, to address those comments, all of the negative comments that did come in, not that there was a lot of them, in proportion, there were so many nice comments, but for those fraction of comments that were, more negative or at least more questioning the idea, they all came in with that perspective that at the end of the day, this is strictly a dollars and cents decision. And I don't think, to tell you guys, it's not a dollars and cents decision. Part of it is, but there's so many other factors that do come into things. And that's something that I think you should take with you with every decision that you make in the stock market. It shouldn't all come down to what a spreadsheet says or what the math tells you. We invest so that we can have, that money to help complement our lives and to live better lives, right? And sometimes that means spending some of that money. Sometimes that means transferring things. I really love what Darcy, I believe it was, said. He said, if in your gut, this is something that you want. I no longer want to rent. It's something that with me is just something I don't want. I always want to own a home. Well, then it may make sense in that case. And yeah, it's just like, that's why we invest, right? Let's not get it twisted. That's the reason we do things, at least in my opinion. But yeah, that's kind of the video that I wanted to just talk about today, guys. I know, crazy little rant here. And yeah, as I said, I've been so busy and I apologize for the lack of videos. We got a whole bunch of stuff we're getting sorted out with the new home, getting all the fine details done, and obviously packing and whatnot. I'm going to become a landlord for the first time too. And that's a whole new ball game, figuring out what papers to sign, how to tell the strata. It's not as hard as it seems, but again, it's just a little bit of additional logistics there. And on top of that, for our academy students, some of you guys already know this, but I am filming an entire refilm of our beginner training course. So it's been actually a couple years since I filmed those last videos. And a great example is, like, at the time, my camera didn't have 4K. So I know it's not minor, the quality's still great, but just to kind of, improve it and make sure that we're staying up to the times and making sure we're staying fresh, I'm going through an entire refilm. And that is just a project in and of itself. And I figure I might as well get that done before the baby comes, because it's going to take me a couple months on the short end with all the editing and whatnot. But it's something that I made a commitment to do, and that's really occupied a lot of my time. That said, I just thought this would be a perfect video just to kind of quickly come out here and just explain my thought process to you guys. And hopefully that kind of cleared the air for some people who maybe we're still a little bit confused about why I did what I did. Again, as a disclaimer, I'm by no means saying that you should be doing this or that it's the right move for you. Of course not. Nothing that we talk about is guaranteed the right move for you. I'm just sharing with you guys what I'm doing. And yeah, it just happened to be that way. But I will wrap up there, guys. Video's going a bit longer than I would have hoped. But I just want to say again, thank you so much for all of the comments. Everybody, man, you guys are just like insane. That video got so many more views than my typical videos, and I just got to hear from so many of the subscribers who maybe don't tune in on a regular basis, but they are lurking around. They have been kind of following this journey and this community for some time over the past 2 or 3 years. So just so heartwarming to hear all of the comments from you guys, and it makes me so proud of the community we've built and everything. As I said, it just makes me that much more excited to kind of get onto this journey, but we do have some things to kind of get done in the meantime. So I'm gonna keep trucking away on that. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do give a thumbs up. That really does help out with the videos and the channel. If you're watching this and you're for some reason not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We post videos like this typically every week. Mark's still been posting videos. He doesn't have a baby on the way to worry about, so he's still kind of on his normal schedule, so that's awesome. I hope you guys are enjoying that content, but we will have a update for you guys coming soon, coming in this upcoming week as well. We're gonna film our portfolio update series, and we did make some changes, some pretty significant changes. As a sneak peek, we sold Alibaba, we sold Tencent, we cut our ties, but for a very good reason. And you guys are gonna have to tune in to that video coming up probably on the weekend just to find out. Baby, come here! What are you doing? She rarely comes to the office with me here, but yeah. That will wrap it up for today's video, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one. Crazy. You crazy.